I think it is important that this kind of legislation is passed. I think to have legislation where, because people are poor, we're going to take the money away from the children is unsatisfactory in this country in 1968. And I think to take mothers out of homes where they are caring for children, require them to leave the home, allow or permit a bureaucrat to have that control over a family and over a mother's life and over the relationship of the mother to the child, is not only self-defeating but barbaric. So we would hope that this legislation that we've offered will be considered seriously by the Senate of the United States, passed by the Senate of the United States, that will have the support of the administration, and that will be passed by the House of Representatives. I think that particularly if the administration gets strongly behind this legislation, that we have much greater chance of having it enacted.
The bill that I've just introduced, and these are two companion bills, has 24 co-sponsors in addition to Senator Kennedy and myself. The provisions of that bill have all been approved by the Senate last session. What it does principally are two things. One, it repeals the very harsh freeze on aid to families with dependent children, which was enacted last year. You'll recall that the conference report last year put a freeze on effective July 1 of this year on the basis of the ratio of dependent families to total families in a state as of January 1, 1967. That, given the continued migration, to have a program by which a family headed by an unemployed parent.
I think all of us have very deep reservations about the welfare system. It's demeaning to the recipients and damaging to the givers as well. There is a great deal of criticism across this country in local communities and at the state level about the welfare system. There's no question that we have to move away from the welfare system and establish a different kind of a program to deal with the problems of the poor. My major reservations, which is joined, I think, by Senator Harris and by the other co-sponsors, is that this legislation, as passed last year, moves in the opposite direction. It breaks up the family, or continues to break up the family. It does not allow for the dignity of the head of the family, the man in the house. Doesn't permit the family to stay together with the man in the house, the husband, to be the head of the family and be the breadwinner. And it punishes the poor. It punishes the children for being the children of poor parents. The amendments that we offer today will change that. It won't do away with the welfare system, but it will be an important step in rectifying the injustices of the legislation that we passed last year. And it will also remedy certain inequities in the legislation that exist at the moment.
The President reports on these proposals. We're under that impression that this might happen this year when you come back.
Well, I haven't had any communication with him personally myself. but maybe Senator Harris.
I haven't either. I hope he will.
It wasn't, we were also expecting you might mention it was the State of the Union, but he didn't.
I was disappointed that he did not. He did make a statement on it at the time of signing the bill, which showed some disapproval of these welfare provisions, and I hope Senator Kennedy said that he'll join with us this year in a strong effort to see these regressive measures repealed, because I think, like Senator Kennedy said, this is a system, the welfare system in America is
75,000 children estimated going to be dropped from the rolls. And so that means that all of those children are going to suffer, and others as well, because the states are going to have to make up for it. Where they're going to get the money to make up for it, it's going to be very difficult, because the state and local tax structure is so difficult at the moment. And then the other part of it is that we've asked in this legislation, we've asked in the President has asked in the budget for an increase for the supersonic airplane. Well, if we just took the money from the supersonic airplane, we could pay for aid to dependent children.
Senator, could you spell out the financial side of this a little more along these lines? How much do you anticipate this legislation would cost the federal government, and how much would it cost the states if they were to try to assume the burden?
Well, we've asked for all of this legislation. We've asked from the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare for an estimate, and they have not been able to give us a report yet. I don't think that the program, by and large, is very costly. I would Senator Harris might have something to add to it.
actually,
I don't think it's going to be costly. The part about the drop of the children is, I think, $150 million. Somewhere in that area, which is far less than the money, as I say, we're paying for the supersonic airplane.
Senator,
Excuse me, Senator Harris.
that's fine.
Would you want to add anything?
No, go ahead.
do you assume that the sentiment of the Senate agrees more with what the conference did than what it actually did in that first vote?
Yes, no question about it, because so many people came to us last year and said, I agree with what you're trying to do, but I'll be put in the position of voting against the Social Security bill, and I'll join with you to try to do what you want to do next year when it's not involved with the Social Security bill. And I think the result you see here in the number of co-sponsors that we have this year indicates that the effort since about the middle of last week.
Just the House will be the toughest place.
Yes, I think the same as we had last year. Yes, I might explain that. Probably most of it, and I don't need to speak in my capacity as a member of that commission. What I've learned there simply corroborates what I think is rather obvious already.
Senator Kennedy, if the administration does not support you on this bill, will that influence the decision you announced not to challenge the president under any conceivable circumstances?
I was wondering how you're going to get it in, Dan.
Do we have a question?
Yeah.
Well, Senator Harris brought it up. Is the unforeseen circumstance that the president might not run again?
I would hope that the amendments that we've recommended will be passed.
That's not the answer to the question.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood her. What was it?
Shall I say it again?
The what? Go ahead if you have to.
Since Senator Harris mentioned it, Brian.
No, don't tell me. Go ahead.
Is the unforeseen circumstance that might lead you to change your mind the possibility that Lyndon Johnson will not seek re-election?
I haven't worked out what the unforeseen circumstances are. The statement that I made yesterday speaks for itself. I have nothing to add to it.
What was that statement again, Frank?
It said that my son David was not going to run for president. Is that all?
Thank you.
Not right at the moment.
Can you hear me? Look at that in front of him.